Okay, so here's my uninformed, filthy casual opinion on where I think all the classes lie in Unicorn Overlord. If you haven't played the game Unicorn Overlord, you really should. It's a lot of fun. It's just a really, really good game. Really silly name, but very good. And I was watching other people's tier lists, and of course, I disagree with them, and I know better than them, of course. I don't, but this is my opinion based on the experience I have. Again, I'm a filthy casual. I only have several hundred hours in the game. I've beaten it a couple of times. I can't remember if I beat it on True Zenorian or not. Not that it matters. That when you play on the hardest difficulty, there are other considerations to make. But just like for again filthy casual playthrough, this is where I think kind of everyone lies in a tier list. So just to kind of break it down, my no budget version I have here, and I gotta make this quick because my last time I tried doing this it took over an hour, so we're gonna do kind of speed through this a little faster. So basically, like this column here is like your S tier, your A tiers, your B tiers, and then the dishwashers, as I like to call them. They're just in their own category of just extra special bad, and this is where they belong. We'll start with the top because I think it kind of helps to explain everyone else's positions after that. So I'll start with my personal favorites. These five right here. Berengaria, Virginia, Hilda, all the Griffin Riders, Rosalind. This also includes Eltond. I can never pronounce her damn name. Eltalon. I'll just call her El. The Elven casters. They're both extremely good. Rosalind is a little bit better, but briefly, the reason why they're here is because you build your team around them. You're gonna put your Griffin Rider probably up front and center, and you're gonna build your team to maximize their effectiveness. If not, they're a great support DPS. Like you put them on a team to deal additional damage, to pick off rows, or to set rows up to be taken out later by other people. Same thing with Hilda here, is a little bit tougher. But Fire Breath is really good. There's lots of good spears you can give her to make her even better. Again, if you don't know why Rosalind is like the best character in the game, then you should experiment more with her. She can take out entire teams by herself. Berengaria is a force to be reckoned with. Virginia is just amazing. All of these characters are going to be the anchor on your, maybe not the anchor on your team, but they are the unofficial team leader. You're probably not going to have them be the team leader. You're going to have the flying unit be the team leader. But they're just amazing. They have lots of things going for them. I'm not going to get into all of it, but to me, these are the best for various reasons. Even ignoring equipment, their skill sets are just awesome, and their stats are good. They're just really, really awesome. Then we go down to sort of like the sub S tier, where characters are still really good. Maybe it's not quite as good, but so I put Elaine down here. A lot of people are like, "What? Elaine is not the tippity top tier." Well, Elaine isn't good until you get all of his unique equipment, and he gets a level 30. Until the late game, he isn't actually that good. And there's actually a point in the game when you first promote him to have his horse, he actually gets worse because of all the cavalry hate in the game. So for a little while, he actually gets kind of his ass kicked. Like between like levels like 15 all the way up to like level 30, he kind of gets slapped around a lot. And actually, that's a big part of the game right there. And so, and that kind of eliminates him from being the best. Once he does have everything, yeah, he's amazing. Just takes a while to get there. I put the healers up here, and all people are like, "Oh, healers! What healers aren't S tier?" Yeah, they are. They're a healer, and they do all the healing stuff very, very well. And if you're struggling to figure out what the fifth character on a team should be, just throw a healer in. They're just gonna help. A lot of people might also look at, I put breakers up here in sort of like the A tier. I guess if this is S, I guess this would be A. I prefer to call it sub S, but whatever. Breakers are amazing. They just kill everything. They're just good. Again, do you build your team around them? Yeah, you can. I prefer to use them again as sort of like support DPS, where you'll have like one of these characters being either not being the first one to attack, but being the second one to attack, because the breaker will first check for an armor unit and kill them first, and then one of these guys will then start doing their job. But also, just breakers are great. They kill, again, they kill almost everything in one hit for the most part. If not, they almost kill them. If you give them like some way of giving them a true strike, and so they don't miss, or just increase their accuracy so they miss less often, they're amazing. The game just hands you 3 of them, so you can have a bunch of teams with them. They're just really good. Chloe is awesome. You do have to give her like a special spear to make her offense a little stronger. But just the fact that she has Keen Call immediately just makes her amazing. You put her on a team, hide her in the back, just have her like spam Keen Call on any one of these characters, and so they automatically crit all the time, and just watch the damage numbers go crazy. And that's why I think that she's really, really good. Gilbert here, probably the same thing. You put him on any team, he's just going to buff the crap out of them and make that team very, very good. So all these good people like might not be the team leader per se, but they're going to make any team very, very good. And Elaine sort of takes a while to get there, but when he does, he is a wrecking house all by himself. It's just that it takes a while. Over here in the sort of the B tier category, some people might have some interesting choices, but again, these characters are going to be more supportive in what they do, or they need a lot of help to be good. So, you're gonna say like, "Oh my God, you got fucking Yana over here in the fucking B tier, really?" But what makes Yana good is supporting somebody else by making them go first, or by giving her a piece of equipment that makes her better. Like, so you're really playing around the equipment that she has available to herself. She has some good stuff. Magic Missile really sucks. Ice Bolt's fine. Guard Hunter is awesome, but again, that's from the equipment, not from her. So Focus Sight is really, really good, and there's some other things you could do with her that make her really good. But again, when you can build a team around her, but there's like more considerations. Like, oh, I gotta protect her. I gotta make sure she goes first. I gotta make sure there isn't a goddamn fucking feather shield on the other team. Like, there's lots of other thinking that has to go involved to make that team shine. A lot of people are going to point out, like, oh, you got Trinity Rain and Quick Impetus, or whatever the hell the cat hat is called, in order to, like, make it so she murders. Yeah, sure, again, in order to get all those things together, though, there's a lot of grinding and farming you have to do before you can get that to work. And sure, when you do, it's great, but there are ways that it can be hard countered, which then kind of fucks it all up, as opposed to just using these characters to just beat the shit out of everything that gets in your way. And they do it pretty much every single time, and there's very little things that hard counter them. There still are some things, don't get me wrong, but there's less situations where these characters are going to be at a disadvantage as opposed to any of the spellcasters. You notice that, what's his name there? Fucking Warlock, Auburn. I always forget his name. Where the hell is he? You notice that he's not on here. For space, for space considerations, we're just going to say all the spell, like the Witch and the Warlock are kind of in the same spot, where there's just a lot of stuff you have to do to make them good, and when you do, they are very good. But yeah, we'll include Auk in here. Also, you might notice like Scarlet's not here. Oh yeah, I probably should put that, like Scarlet would be like here along with the Bishop, where she's a great support unit, and she could do really good damage. But again, you're not going to build a team around her. She's going to support the team, but she's going to do it very, very well. So if you don't see a character here, then just find a character that they're closely related to, and that's probably where I'd put them. Next, we'll to feather bows. I hate feather bows. I fucking hate them, but they're really good. Goddamn Shining Light is the stupidest goddamn... Ignore the Wolfpack thing. I was trying something weird. I was trying to make a bestial team using Wolfpack. It wasn't working well, but I never undid that. But anyways, Shining Light is a stupid ability, and I hate it. But it is super duper good. And it's pretty much the only thing that makes this class so good. That, and they're an archer, so they're good against flying units. It's ironic to have a flying unit that counters flying units, but here we are. Anyways, like, again, they're really good. I hate them. I hate them a lot. It's ironic that other a sniper, like snipers and arbalists will actually pick them off, assuming they're not fucking blind. Sorry, that's the same reason why Sylvie is over here. Like, they're, again, I acknowledge they're really, really good, but I hate them a lot. Oftentimes what they do is they help you not lose, but they don't necessarily help you win. If that makes any sense. Like, you'll technically win, but you won't wipe out the other team because you're not doing enough damage to actually, like, kill them off. But they are really good for pretty much the same reason. Sylvie requires equipment to actually, like, actually not even. I mean, look, Sylvie, the druids in general, they're just broken. I hate them. If there were any two characters I would delete from this game, it would be druids and feather bows. And actually probably feather shields as well, but feather shields aren't as big of a deal. They're just kind of obnoxious. I just hate them. I hate them so much. Unifi, I really like Unifi, and I really kind of wanted to move her up a little bit, but again, she requires a little more setting up to be super duper good. And there are some shenanigans and funny business that you can have with her. Like, one of my favorite things to do is put her in the front row, crank up her evasion as high as possible, which just looks like that's what I did here, and then just have her try and spam triple counter to kill the enemy team off, and it's actually really effective, and it's really funny as well. I really like Unifi. A lot of people put the Landsknechts, like a Berenice here, as like an S tier, and they are really good, but again, they require a lot of like gear and setting up to actually be really good. You have to fix their accuracy problem. They're not that tanky, so if the enemy team is going first, or if she misses, or whatever have you, and all that damage just disappears, they can be taken out very quickly and very easily. They can survive surprisingly long, but their survivability feels very, very random. I really like them, and I like putting them in teams again as like support DPS. So again, I like to take like Berenice and put her with Berengaria or Virginia, just so the amount of damage that gets outputted in the first round is crazy, and hopefully all the major threats are eliminated so that they won't have to take a lot of damage. Or I have to combine them with a healer to make sure they stay alive. Like, again, I really do like them. I just feel like, again, there's a lot of work you have to do to make them shine, and they can still just get insta-gibbed with relative ease, which can be kind of annoying. Over here we have characters that, again, are sort of, I think, are good, but require even more work to be good. I really like Auburn, however you want to pronounce his name. Mostly I like him for Vitalize or Vitalize 2. Either version is great, just to keep the team rolling so you don't have to worry about your stamina. It's just really awesome. He has just a generally decent-ish skill set. It's not great, but it's fine. Again, he's sort of like a support damage dealer. He's gonna hit. You kind of want him to hit first to lower their defense, so your actual damage dealers will then do more damage and be more successful. Warhorn is a perfectly good passive skill. It's not great, but stop making it so everyone's attacks are unguardable is surprisingly effective, since the game likes to guard way more often than it really should. Anyone else ever noticed that? I noticed that. And moving on, we got Werefox over here. They're really good. The only issue I have with them is that I've noticed they have a nasty tendency of getting picked off more often than they really should. So again, I find that they can be very annoying, very powerful. They don't necessarily do a lot of damage, but they're sort of a good supporting damage dealer. Their Shadow Pursuit is super annoying because guess what? Blinding people is super obnoxious. Again, I like them. I just feel like there are better units for the most part, but they're fine. If you're a furry, you probably really like her. Let's move on to the Elven Archers. Notice I put the Elven Archers pretty high on my list. I like them for pretty much one thing only, which ironically is not here, which is kind of funny, because you haven't unlocked it yet. Oh, I mean, I really wasn't using you guys in this playthrough, was I? Oh, crap. It's Pure Field. Pure Field is awesome. Giving everyone a one-time buff that negates a debuff is a lot better than you think. And once you get Icicle Arrow, they are very good. But again, this sort of falls into the same category as like Elaine, where it's like they don't get good until the late game. And until you get... The difference is that Elaine is still at least kind of good, as opposed to like all the Elven Archers and their kin, where it's like they kind of suck until they get these things. Using Mystical Conferral can help a lot to make a team like have that anti-armor ability that you need to get through. So again, I still really like them, and again, I think Pure Field is a really good starting, not the best starting passive, but it's definitely a really, really good one. It's better, like, compared to these two, like, I like it more than Warhorn. Anyways, moving on to, because I'm probably going to go over my 1 hour of recording time here. Death Knights, again, they're really good, they're really powerful. I think they're the best cavalry unit, but they require a lot of setting. Again, a lot of, like, special considerations that make them a little harder to maximize. And again, they have all the weaknesses that come with being cavalry, which are numerous in this game. It's kind of ironic where it's like it's almost safer to hide the cavalry in the back for the most part. But yeah, I mean, I think Death Knights are really good. They're fun to play with, but there are a lot of considerations you have to do to make them really shine. Like, you can't just stick them in the front with any 5-man team and expect them to be really good. They're going to get slapped around and then probably killed by flying units or random infantry units that have an anti-cavalry ability for some bloody reason. But yeah, that's kind of also why Clive is over here, but a little bit lower. Maybe we should put it like that kind of represents, like, I think cavalry is fine. In fact, I might even have to switch these out with somebody over there if I took a little more time to organize this. But, I mean, cavalry's good, but again, there's a lot of weaknesses because there's a lot of cavalry hate. So they have a tendency of just being, like, one-shotted by a lot of stuff or dying very suddenly to very specific teams. Because Cavalry Call even exists, which notice is not even on here, you're kind of like put in a situation where the game wants you to make a cavalry team that is then super weak against Griffin Knights specifically, like, or really either of these, any flying unit for that matter, but mostly these two. But again, when they're in the right element, they're just going to run people over and do well. But again, there are lots of situations they're not going to shine. You're going to find that a cavalry team is either murdering everything or getting murdered, and there's very little middle ground. Next, we'll go into teams where it's like, I like them, and in situations they can be good, but mostly they're not good. We'll start with, I didn't even bother to promote you. Oh, poor girl. The Arbalist, or whatever they turn into when you upgrade them. I can't remember what it is. I just always call them Arbalists even after you promote them. Again, they have one job they're really good at, which is killing flying units. And then they kind of will then act as like a pseudo tank, but they're not very good at that, so that's a problem. Again, the reason why they're here and they're not lower and they're not in the secret junk tier, which I may have revealed, is because they actually have a purpose. They're just very specialized, and if they're not doing their specialization, they kind of suck. And even if they're trying to do their backup role, which is being a tank, they're not very good at that. So that's kind of, sorry, I'm getting distracted by something. So yeah, I just think they're okay. They're just not great. That's kind of also like why like Rolf is over here. The snipers. It's because when they're doing what they're meant to do, they're good at it. But then that's kind of it. They're almost like too specialized. But there are some shenanigans you can do to make them a little bit better. And sometimes what a team needs is a sniper. and they fill that role pretty well. It's kind of like also like Melisandre, all the duelists, sword masters would be here as well. It's like for the same sort of reasons, where they have a very specific job that they're good at, and then they kind of suck at everything else. Um, I mean, I like sword masters, but there's a lot of work you have to put into making them good. Sainted Knights, Monaco over here, kind of the same thing. They have a place, they have a purpose. The difference here is I would say Sainted Knights are a little too generalized, where they're trying to be cavalry and they're trying to be a healer and they're trying to be an anti-spellcaster. They're not super good at any of those things. They're pretty good anti-spellcasters. I mean that's for sure. But and I like them more than feather shields for sure, and I do like them. I find that there's like something in their toolbox that they need to really be good, and they just don't have those things. So next we got pretty much like the bear, the werebear, the werelion, the werebear, the werelion, and I feel like there was somebody else I'm kind of lumping in here with everybody else. Oh yeah, and Amalia. They're kind of all in the same spot where I like them, and I kind of like building teams sort of around them, but those teams usually wind up not being very good. But I do have fun trying to make them good, if that makes any sense. It's hard to say like what makes them lacking. I think their very low initiative is a problem, and getting the initiative high enough is also a problem. They do a lot of damage, but in all cases, like their accuracy is really bad. So you have a double whammy of really low initiative and very low accuracy, and you kind of have to try and fix both of them with items, and it's a lot of tweaking you got to do to make. Oh no, my secret trash tier layer! No, don't look. Okay, but I still like them. It's just that there's a lot you got to do to make them work. But I have made some teams where where they could maul entire teams. All not I wouldn't say by themselves. That's definitely a lie. But they do done good. Next, this is teams where it's like they have a purpose, but I don't know. Notice Bruno's over here. There's something wrong with like the gladiator type that makes them slightly worse than all those other characters I mentioned up here. I think it's because they just don't have quite the same survivability. Even with what the hell is it called? Bulk up. They still just kind of get killed a lot. And again, they have all the same weaknesses as having both low accuracy and low initiative. Instead makes it so that you have to try and fix both problems simultaneously. It's a lot of extra stuff, and I still my first playthrough I had a team with Bruno as lead, not the leader, but like he was sort of like I built around him, and it was all right. It was good when it worked. It was pretty funny. Like a lot of people put the Were Owl in the top tier. Again, I think she's good. It's just she's so supporty in such a weird way. I mean, granted, like I said, you put her with someone to increase their accuracy, and then you give her another thing to help boost everyone's initiative, and blah blah blah. Then yeah, but she gets good. I do like Quick Dispel. Quick Dispel is really really good, especially. But again, I feel like what she is a hard counter to very specific units. Like against witches, she's a very good hard counter. They try to. They're going to try to make their wizard go first to do, like, some big damaging spell, and she's just like, no, you're not. You're going to go last now, bitch, because your initiative sucks. Against Death Knights, she's very good, because as they're trying to buff themselves to raise their damage, she's just like, nope, you're not going to do that anymore. So she's a good hard counter to specific things, but then that's kind of it. Her restore ability... it's fine, but like again, I just giving her a bunch of PP to then just give to somebody else. It's kind of silly, but there are some things you like. First, you could have her give a PP to like the Elven Archers, so that then they'll trigger their selfless heal, and that's actually a pretty good little combo. But again, I feel like they're like they're like the third or fourth thought on any team you make. This guy over here, I don't even remember his name. All I know is I don't like him as a character. He's a fucking brainless scumbag, but whatever. I mean, they're okay. Holy Cradle's annoying to play against, but it's not really good to use. Honed Healing it exists. I do like Overheal. That's like the only reason why they're up here. Overheal is actually not bad. All the rest of their stuff is just sort of meh. And since we're here, poor Oaklease. Actually, this is Umerus. Actually, Umerus is fuck Umerus. Where the fuck's Oaklease? I do love Oaklease. Oaklease as a character, I love her. She shows up, basically says, we have to go kill the heretics, and I'm like, okay. Like, anyway, a little bit off track here, but basically all these characters have some kind of either major flaw, drawback, or limitation that makes it so that they're just not really that useful. But poor Oaklease has a problem where, man, she drops off hard. The entire Feather Sword, I just never feel threatened by Feather Swords. Even when the computer's using them on True Zenorian, I still just don't feel threatened by them. They're just not that scary. Whatever their big ability is, what's it called? Like fucking Hone Slash. It's just not that threatening, to be honest. Sure, it can do a lot of damage, especially if they use Discharge and Hone Slash. Yeah, it can. But then after that, they're totally burnt out, and then their next attacks are just going to be like fucking garbage. Oh god, yep. The Elven Fencers are just pretty bad. In general, they're just not good. I have nothing else to say about that. Let's go to the trash tier. My secret trash tier. The characters I think are just absolute garbage. Except for Joseph. Like Joseph is here because he falls off really, really hard. And it's hard to get him to the point where he starts being good again. If you can be patient and get him to have Divine Cross, and then give him, I think it's called like the Runic Sword. I think that's what I think I've equipped to somebody. Yeah, the Runic Sword. Then he can come back. He can make a comeback and then be good again, because then he has like a decent magic attack to get rid of armored units or anyone's weak against magic attacks. Which is nice, which is good, but it's just getting him there kind of hard, because it's like 10 levels of him just sucking ass, and any team he's on being worse because he's there. I'll get to those guys. I got fucking Feather Shields. This fucking guy. Again, he's just too specific a counter. They're just here and only here to counter magic units, and that's it. Otherwise, they're fucking useless, and I hate them. And with Hodrick, again, there's just too much armor hate to make them good. As soon as they're a spellcaster or anything with a magic attack of any kind, or things that remove defense or make it so you can't guard, there's so many situations where the big tanky unit suddenly dies instantly. Unlike the bear. The bear can actually, like, tank a lot, surprisingly. Even against magic attacks, they usually can survive being hit by them. He cannot. He's going to get killed in, like, one hit. So there's just so many situations where he just gets insta-gibbed, and it's annoying. Fucking Travis. Fucking the thieves, rogues, wherever they call. Sure, passive steal, evade. Like, I just think they're trash. Their stats are ass. All their skills they get are ass. Not even gonna like show me all of them. No. Okay. Well, where's the other? Where's the other guy? It's be a little easier to tell if we can. Here we go. Like Shadow Bite, just sure it blinds people. Blinding is good, and it lowers their initiative. Like sure it's good, but it doesn't do shit for damage. And it costs 2 AP. It's I mean again it's alright, I guess. It's a range attack, which is good, but you know it's just I just don't think it's that good. I mean, if you're gonna blind people, you might as well give her the same, like You might as well give her the sandstorm stick and have her just blind the entire team. So at least this way, if they have a clear cast refresh, they're gonna have to choose between the front row or the back row, and at least still some people are still blind. With the feather bows, which you don't get until much later, granted, which is kind of one problem with feather bows, but because it's a reaction, they can't react to your reaction. So when she does Shining Light, the clerics can't respond by then casting refresh against that. So that row is now just blinded, and the computer is just not gonna like remove that debuff unless they have an active skill used immediately afterwards to remove the debuff. Now people say, like, oh, you evade. You have evade, and then you use passive steal to make it so they keep evading. Yeah, but then somebody has true strike and they die instantly. Like Ralph here uses Eagle Eye and just shoots him, and now he's dead instantly in one shot, and he can't dodge it. Get fucked, bitch. And there's a bunch of people that can do that too. Hell, even Yada can just give somebody true sight. Anyone. And then make it so they can kill any one of these guys in one shot. Now, granted, the computer isn't usually set up to do that, which is why I think a lot of people put them much higher up on the tiers. Except there are some accidental situations where that still happens. So I just think they're trashy and they're bad, and you shouldn't use them. But I think we all can agree that Lex is the worst. Lex and his entire class, Vanguard / whatever the hell they're called. Where the fuck is Colm? That fucking dum-dum. Oh, fighter. Fighters. They're just bad. There's only one reason why you use them, and that's for arrow cover. So arrow cover to cover your flying unit. That is it. And even then, there's literally items that can replace him. And that's it. That is my thoughts on the tiers and what is good and what is bad and why. And I tried to rush through this because it took me like an hour last time. Actually, it took over an hour and I didn't even realize it. So, anyways, that's what I think. I just want to talk about it because I like hearing myself talk, and that's all I got to say about that. I'm quoting Forrest Gump. My bad. Sorry.